We've all been following the Golden State Warriors' struggles and their pursuit of improving their roster closely. We all know that the Golden State Warriors are not having an easy time right now trying to put together a good roster. The team is currently vying for playoff positioning in a crowded Western Conference, and it seems obvious that changes are needed. But what if they are here? Now, this is while reports emerge of the Warriors signing of a veteran big man who would not only provide strength inside, but also mentorship for the team. His name is none other than Dwight Howard. But what does it mean for the Warriors and their title hopes? Could Howard be the magic ingredient that thrusts them back into the thick of competition? Let's dive into why the addition of Dwight Howard to the Warriors might just be the winning move for Golden State's championship run. The Golden State Warriors have faced some glaring weaknesses this season, particularly when it comes to their play in the paint. Despite boasting some of the most prolific shooters in the league with Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green, the Warriors have struggled with the absence of a dominant, traditional center. But Dwight Howard could be the missing piece at this point of his career, and probably would fill even the most crucial voids the Warriors might seek desperately. Let's take a closer look at how Howard will change the fate of the Warriors on both ends, and especially how important such a signing would be as they seek to push for another championship. To begin, Dwight Howard would significantly elevate the performance of the Warriors, particularly on the defensive end, especially when it comes to rim protection. Throughout his career, Howard has been known as one of the most elite shot blockers in the NBA. His size, strength, and timing make him a threat in the paint at all times. And these are also things that tighten up one of the biggest weaknesses of Golden State. The fact is, the Warriors have not been able to match up with those two physically in previous meetings because of players such as Nikola Jokic and Anthony Davis ruling the paint. Howard's presence could mean everything to them, for they would be able to play much more aggressively on perimeter, knowing that they have an incredible defender holding the fort in the middle. Apart from that, he will be really handy for rebounding skills. The Warriors will be better off on rebounds if Howard's tenacity on the boards could provide them with more grounds to dictate game tempo and cut their opponents' second chance points. Howard's offensive plays actually reinforces the post game that Warriors players would like to have. Despite Golden State's offense relying on perimeter shooting, it has been one of the most successful teams in the league. However, introducing another low-post threat to an opposition would surely stretch their defenses even more. Nowadays, Howard is not as furious as he once was. However, he can still finish plays around the rim, especially considering the opportunities afforded him while getting pick-and-roll moves. For he can finish easily, reliable for baskets because of his size and timing in being such a target. The basket puts him in easy position. He can also work offensively, grabbing those rebounds, producing second-chance opportunities, thereby putting pressure on the defenses for recognition of Howard's presence, other than simply focusing on all those Golden State shooters. Therefore, this feature can make defense become more dangerous, and also bring in a good diversification method. The other viable aspect relates to Dwight Howard being a treasure that the Warriors will have outside the court. His leadership and championship experience. Having won an NBA championship with the Los Angeles Lakers in 2020, Dwight Howard will understand the intensity of playoff basketball and go through the rigors of the postseason. His mentorship of young budding players like Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody would be important in the future for the Warriors. Howard's presence will provide wisdom at high-pressure moments when the games get tight and will provide the team with a steady influence when games are close. He will also offer insights into keeping a team focused and united during the long stretch of an 82-game season and into the postseason on how to navigate locker room dynamics. It would not be an easy fit for Howard, but his willingness to take on a more supportive role, coming off the bench, or sharing the limelight fits great with Golden State's way of doing things, where player selflessness and teamwork are prerequisites reserved to great lengths most experienced players are willing to take to achieve. While Dwight Howard isn't in the shape he once was when he was in his prime, he would have an impact at both ends of the floor that would make him ideally suited to the Golden State Warriors. Defense in the paint, rebounding, and post-scoring would give Golden State the necessary balance that matches its perimeter-oriented attack. He certainly brings the sort of veteran leadership and championship pedigree that would help to infuse much-needed experience into a Warriors team with championship aspirations. The addition of Dwight Howard to the roster would strengthen the Warriors' chances of competing for another title while also giving them the inside presence they've been missing and enhancing their overall depth. For a number of years now, the Golden State Warriors have been a championship-caliber team for several years, consistently competing at the highest level. Unfortunately, for some reason or the other, they have not been able to fill a few gaps in recent seasons, preventing them from reaching their ultimate potential. The arrival of Dwight Howard will provide the much-needed plugs for these holes. And once again, Golden State Warriors would position themselves as serious challengers for the title. In fact, Howard will even solve areas in the Warriors that have been most deprived, but also further enrich the roster as well as enhance their postseason run chances. Among the biggest advantages of Howard's addition to the roster is that it will allow Draymond Green to go back to his natural position of power forward. Always so versatile in guarding multiple positions and able to facilitate the offense as a playmaker, Green has been able over the years to prove himself as one of the more versatile defenders in the league. Still, the lack of a true center has often forced Green to take on the role of 5, and he would find himself put under with big, strong centers. In truth, he has proved overwhelming for most purposes, but there are a few occasions where he cannot compete in strength and size against elite big men, especially in the post. With Howard at the helm of the 5 spot, Green is freed from having to wrestle in the paint and can do what he does best, defending multiple positions and orchestrating the Warriors' offense. That is to say, the two basically offensive and defensive masterminds that they have, with Howard anchoring the center position. The entire Warriors' ideology with respect to offensive play includes ball movement, area management, and lots of three-pointers. He is not the modern stretch 5, but he has something else to offer that would perfectly fit into the Golden State offense. He can roll up the attack and finish at the hole, which would make him the ideal target of Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green. He would also make opposing defenses respect his post game and rebounding, thus freeing up even more space on the perimeter for shooters on the Golden State team. And that would add yet another dimension to their offense. It would make them so much more dangerous in the postseason when every possession matters. Misdemeanors would induce abuse with the offer of Howard as an additional option on offense in the paint. Besides counting towards offense and defense, Howard's size and physicality should have their value during matches in the playoffs when facing excellent big men. During their championship run, the Warriors sometimes fell prey to the larger and stronger sides, such as the Los Angeles Lakers and Denver Nuggets. In such matches, Golden State has been forced to depend on smaller lineups and perimeter shooting for compensating against the absence of a center. In doing so, with Howard now in the lineup, they seem to have enough balance on how they'll face these types of matchups. He would give the film more strength and rebound ability while strategizing with the Warriors at the same time, thus providing great relative physicality to several of these teams in terms of the front court they rely on for dominance. That advantage would be necessary in clear postseason fill-ups. Joining Dwight Howard in the Warriors would ensure that the team now has the depth and balance necessary to take another championship run. The Warriors have already proven they can win without a traditional center, but with Howard on the roster, they would have the best of both worlds. They could continue to shoot from the perimeter, defend the paint, and out-execute opponents in critical moments. Howard's leadership, physicality, and championship experience would bring a new level of toughness to the team, and his presence would help Golden State compete against the league's best. With Howard in the fold, the Warriors would be an even more formidable force, capable of going toe-to-toe with any team in the league. The idea of just how much Dwight Howard is going to be an asset to the Golden State Warriors can be gained only by looking beyond the most recent stats that he has, which tell us much about his still great contribution at a high level. Howard, playing with the Toyuan Leopards in Taiwan, put off an all-around game impressive in any case. For the entire time Howard spent in Taiwan, he averaged 23.2 points with the somewhat incredible efficiency of 67% shooting. These numbers show that he still has a knack for easily finishing around the basket, a skill that would make it a perfect fit for the Warriors' offense, especially in these pick-and-roll kinds of situations with the team's elite playmakers. Apart from the scoring, Howard's other fine feature, cultivated in the average of 16.2 rebounds, would also be a good one. And that's not another fact to think about relative to how much the Warriors have struggled in previous seasons. Golden State always relied on perimeter shooting as well as small ball lineups. Ruling that out needed a true big presence to dominate in the paint, something which has gotten weak ranges with a highly talented big. He remains strong to claim the boards and therefore second chances to the Warriors in Howard's offer of figures. The barreling out, securing offensive boards, and limiting the opponent's second chance from the score would be great for the Warriors' game plan. In fact, those numbers reflect Howard's amazing consistency as a rim protector, since he has also managed to average 3.4 blocks a game while in Taiwan. For so many years now, Dwight Howard had been one of the best in shot blocking, and having that ever-increasing pressure in the defense in the paint would augur very well for the Warriors' defense. To those still learning the Golden State Warriors, rim protection has always made for a glaring issue, even with the reputation of being perimeter defenders. In the last seasons, when going against the Jokic, Davises, and other great dominating centers, elite shot-blocking ability and physicality of Howard around the basket that could help the Warriors contest shots more effectively from the opponents, as well as deter those opponents, usually from attacking the rim. Some more stress would be lifted from Draymond Green, as there have been several instances when he had to compete against the bigger and more physical centers because of the general absence of a traditional center in the Warriors. Time spent in Taiwan isn't equivalent to NBA standards, but those stats are enough to tell. Further, he has the quality of dominating on both ends of the floor. In that dimension of the game, popularly considered a level below the NBA, as seen in his continuing physical dominance and basketball IQ. Also, Howard possesses the ability to perform under pressure, including that which stems from his NBA championship with the Los Angeles Lakers in 2020. Thus, he will be a massive play in the postseason, especially valuable for the Warriors, who are used to being clutch performers. His maturity, toughness, and academic pedigree will add value to a locker room that could keep its head and mind clear and firm during the toughest times. To sum up, recent performances by Dwight Howard show that he still has plenty left in the tank, as he played for the Taoyuan Leopards. Scoring with high efficiency, rebounding, and rim protecting would address many of the much-needed team components that the Warriors have struggled with over the years. Although it is probable that his experience in Taiwan may not equal the competition he will face in the NBA, the stats are convincing that Howard could still greatly produce and thus an asset to the Warriors in pursuit of another championship. The rich blend of experience, physicality, and leadership should fit right in with the existing stars of Golden State and should boost the team's chances of a deep playoff run. Is Dwight Howard potentially the piece that will help the Golden State Warriors win another championship? With defensive prowess, offensive rebounding, and leadership, Howard would fill in some much-needed holes in the Warriors roster, making them that much more dangerous in the postseason. But ready or not, that much is clear. The front office is exhausting all avenues possible to make a return to championship contention. I'm curious to know your thoughts. Should the Warriors pull the trigger on signing Dwight Howard, or should they continue exploring other options?